This is Pop Punk Promotions. I'm here with Mike from MorningStar Records, Barrie, Ontario, Canada. How's it going, Mike?
It's going great, my friend. How are you?
Doing great. Really appreciate you coming on. Let's dive right into it. So, when and how did MorningStar Records form?
Morningstar Records really kind of formed as an idea in my head a long time ago. Many years ago, I was in a band called The Din. I was a bassist and singer, and we were looking at recording what was going to be our second record. And we were in a fairly small town, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. And so there was a local record label that wanted to record our second album for us, which was fantastic. But in return, they wanted to sign us. And when we took a look at the contract, we realized we would basically be signing our lives away, and we could not, in good faith, do that. And I just came away from that whole interaction thinking, like if I just like if we could just record the thing on our own and then just get a bit of help pushing it over the finish line, like the mixing, the mastering, and then just making like CDs and maybe even vinyl, that would be great. So then jump ahead a few years. Now I'm kind of living on my own. I'm a solo musician and I'm getting ready to launch a new record. And I'm thinking to myself, well, man, not a lot of people really buy CDs or buy that sort of stuff anymore. Monetizing the music is kind of a problem. So wouldn't it be great if I could find like an on-demand service that made on-demand CDs? So I went out and I found one such factory, and to my surprise, they even did on-demand vinyl. So then I was able to just set up a storefront on my website where people could purchase them. I'd go fill out the order in the back end with this factory. They'd manufacture the unit, ship directly to the customer. Bam, it was a great system. Well, then I got into a YouTube community where I met a lot of fantastic artists. I really fell in love with a lot of their work, and they kind of saw what I was doing. But of course, by this point, I had had years kind of doing this on my own. So when a few of them kind of came to me and they were like, "Hey, listen, like these days, everybody can record their own stuff. We really just need help getting over the finish line." I was like, "Oh my God, yes, this is exactly what I was thinking all these years before." So basically, what I was able to do is take my website, duplicate it, change all the branding, and thus Morningstar Records was born. Morningstar is the name of one of my proudest songs for my solo career. So what we do is we don't sign artists, we affiliate with them. And what that means is if an artist wants to affiliate with Morningstar Records, uh, I will, get them listed in the artist links. We'll do all that, and then we take their album, all their artwork, all the songs, and we make the templates for on-demand CDs and vinyl, which are now being handled by a factory in London, UK, called Elastic Stage. So basically, Elastic Stage now handles the web store, all the sales, all the transactions, all the payouts, which is fantastic. Really simplifies my work. And I just get to work with the artists, helping them kind of take their stuff and push it over the finish line. But I don't own any of the rights to their stuff. So it's really kind of a bold, interesting way. It's I call it a label without the label, really.
That's really dope. I think it's really interesting how a lot of labels, start off that way. They start off as, musicians like doing their own thing, and then they realize it'd be cool to like, you know, to move into like doing a label and like being able to be in charge of like all their own stuff. So yeah, I think that's really really sick.
Yeah, it's super cool because I've always just thought of music as like a good way to express myself. But I always kind of struggled with the business side of things, and I'm not saying I'm some great mogul now, but there are at least things that I can bring to other artists to help them out, and so far it's been super rewarding.
Yeah, that's really really sick. I definitely feel like the industry needs, more small labels like, and DIY and just up and coming people labels that are, in it for the right reasons. They're not in it for like the money or the fame and all that, but to, truly help the bands and to really help them get their art out there. So right on, man. That's really sick.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. So who would you say your biggest influences are? Your favorite labels, biggest influences?
Um, as far as labels go, I've always kind of drifted more toward like smaller labels. I mean, I love. I mean, Sub Pop kind of changed the game. If you're going there, but even like some more like obscure labels, like I don't know if you knew this. I didn't until a while ago. The Rolling Stones, man, they owned a label back in the 70s for I believe a few years. Rolling Stones Records. And they actually had my favorite reggae artist, Gregory Isaacs. He was signed to them. I think he did 2 or 3 records with them. Um, and the funny part about like really small record labels, when they try to do things sort of the traditional way of like signing artists and retaining their rights and doing all those things, it typically ends up in a whole lot of chaos. um, Now, Sub Pop was is obviously kind of an example where that was a lot more stable and it worked. But when you look at like Rolling Stones records, if you kind of learn the story behind it, it really just kind of devolved into pure chaos. And I don't think it lasted very long at all, if I'm remembering the story right. Um, it's just cool. I've never really thought about myself being like a label guy, um, which is why Morningstar is kind of like not a label, I suppose. Um, but it's I don't know, man. The whole freaking industry is just so cool.
That's really dope, really motivating and inspiring.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Thank you.
So you're from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. How's the alternative music scene there? Do you have a favorite local band, favorite venue?
Yeah, I do. And this is kind of cool because I'm like really just sort of breaking into the Barrie music scene. I've been here now for a little over 2 years. Um, but I've kind of bounced around all over parts of Canada, chasing my career. I'm an airline pilot, um, so you just kind of go wherever the work is. And now I have the fortune of flying for a major carrier, and that's put me here in Barrie. Um, and I wanted to break into the scene a little bit, and unfortunately, I haven't had many opportunities to play. But I found another way uh, to learn about a lot of bands, and that is through the efforts of a couple partners and myself. Basically, we run this thing called Underscored Sound, where we bring local artists in, strip them down to just acoustics, and record basically 30-minute sets where they get to play a lot of their originals. Now, I'm the guy behind the scenes. Um, who takes their sessions and mixes and masters them, so that they can go out on our YouTube channel, Instagram, all that. I never really knew very much about the Barrie scene until we started doing that. Now I've mixed about 35 sessions, and I swear to God, this place is so talent rich, it's insane. Like I'm super intimidated about trying to get out myself because I listen to bands around here like Cudbear, which is just this phenomenal punk kind of grunge outfit, really good stuff. And then on the other side of things, where you've got like a really kind of booming indie scene, we've got a band here called Club Silencio, and they are just phenomenal. They actually just put out a new album. I believe it was late last year. Planet Silencio. It's freaking awesome. Like just so many incredible artists, and like a wide range of genres too. Um, so it's also really cool doing the underscored thing because every time I get a session, literally have no idea what I'm going to get. Like uh, I did one session, I was like Wild Bloom, like what is this group? And it turned out to be 3 girls with like guitars and fiddles and these incredible vocal harmonies, very folksy stuff. Like man, I don't know. I kind of feel like I say this everywhere, like that I moved to and lived and spent a bit of time with, but we've such a vibrant scene here, dude. It's incredible. It really is.
That's the best, man. Like when you have
Yeah.
a really good scene with a lot of amazing up and coming bands and venues to choose from. I'm definitely jealous. Like where I'm at, Hershey, the scenes
Okay.
they don't really care about alternative music and venues and all that, which is really sad. Growing up, I grew up in New Jersey and I was really spoiled. Like I had, bands and venues everywhere. Like My Chemical Romance is from there, Census Fail, I Call
Never
Fives,
knew
Man
that. Oh,
Overboard. So yeah, I was really spoiled, but it's funny I didn't really realize that until I came here, and it's just like wow, like I was like really like spoiled like back in the day, and definitely makes me more appreciative of all that. And so yeah, I mean, it'd be really nice to be somewhere where they like cared more, but we'll see what happens.
yeah, one day at a time, man. I was born and raised in a city called Windsor here in Ontario, which is literally right across the river from Detroit. And I never got into the music scene in Windsor, which was probably so stupid, man. I was in high school, I was playing in bands, but we never really like went out to like Windsor and like really got immersed in the scene, which was just awful. I mean, like the Tea Party is from Windsor. Actually, they went to my high school a few years before me. So, like just so good, man. I really missed the boat there. So when I moved away from my hometown, that's when I really started like actively trying to get into music scenes.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like we come from similar backgrounds as far as that goes, and um, yeah, just it is what it is. But right on, man. That's awesome. If you could work with one big band, who would it be?
Oh man, okay. I might hit you out of left field here, but not so much if you know me. Tears for Fears. They are probably my favorite band of all time. I've seen them live twice now. They're one of those bands that just everything they do just keeps getting better and better. Um, they're not one of those kind of one-hit wonder groups that peaked in the 80s. They've put out a couple new albums just in the last few years that are absolutely phenomenal. Those guys are in their 60s and they sound just as good as when they were in their 20s, dude, if not better because they're a little more seasoned now. I would love to at least, if nothing else, be a fly on the wall of their next session. Man, I would be their water boy just to be in the same room.
That would be absolutely incredible. I tell people this all the time. I really believe that England has got one of the best scenes out there. Like a lot of my favorite bands of all time come from England, like Joy Division, The Cure, Oasis, The Stone Roses, Cockatoo
There you go.
Twins. You
Oh yeah.
know, so many of my favorite bands, of all time come from England, Ireland. The Cranberries. Like it's Scotland. Like it's ridiculous, absolutely
Oh yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's honestly just so mind blowing. And like I grew up listening to a bunch of classic rock and so many bands that I was like, oh yeah, like never really think about where bands are from, and then it's like, oh shit, like you too, they're from Ireland, and like oh the Rolling Stones, they're from the UK, and like obviously when you listen to them, but especially as a kid, you never think about that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, when I was a kid, it didn't matter. Now I'm just like weirdly like fascinated by it. I don't know, just because it's like, it's I find it like just really interesting, that there, people that come from different backgrounds that make, incredible music.
Yeah.
It's like our accents are different, but we both love punk rock, we both love metalcore or whatever, and like in the end, like that's what matters.
Yeah, and there are a lot of singers that when you listen to them talk, you can immediately hear where they're from. But then when you hear them sing, they just sound like they're singing. Like there's almost like a singer's accent that we all kind of pick up, where we just pronounce the vowels a certain way, we run our inflections a certain way. A really good example of that, and it's a more modern one. A guy I'd never really even heard of because I was never into One Direction, but there's one guy in One Direction, Louis Tomlinson. You could thank my wife. for showing me him. But his solo work is incredible. Pop rock, really, really stadium kind of driven, the kind of stuff I like to write. And you listen to him sing, and half the time you can't even tell that he's a Brit. And then the other half of the time, his accent kind of starts to slip through, and it's one of the things that sort of makes him unique in that way. Because a lot of like especially British singers, I feel like when they're singing, and maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like you almost can't tell where they're from.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I mean, I personally think it's really cool when their actions come out.
Hmm.
It shows more of like who they are. But yeah, yeah, no, I think it's really dope.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask you some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you as an individual. I did this with the
All
other
right.
bands and labels. Are you ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it. It's your funeral.
So the first one is, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, it's got to be Airport. Came out in 1970. Features like Dean Martin as an airline captain who's just a frickin' brat. It's just such a cool movie. Uh, yeah.
I've never heard of it. I'm gonna have to go and check it out now and then report back.
Yeah, it's based on a disaster book that I absolutely love. It's cool. There's just a lot of moving parts. It's like kind of logistics, kind of action. It's super cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
What's the best vacation that you've been on?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Okay, when I was maybe I think 12 or so, my family we went on a week-long carnival cruise, and that was really cool. We went through the Virgin Islands, and then I believe we stopped in Nassau in the Bahamas before coming back into Florida, and that was just such a cool week.
Well, now you're making me really, really jealous. Now you're just rubbing it in.
No, man, it was so long ago, back when things were affordable. I don't think I'll ever get to do it. Now that I'm an adult and I have to pay for my own crap. But yeah, it was really cool, especially because I was kind of younger too, and like it was my first kind of taste of seeing things off the mainland.
That's dope. So if you had $1 million and you could donate to any charity, which one?
Ah, um, man, there are a lot of good ones. If I had to choose one, I'd say with the political climate right now, it might be Rainbow Railroad. I am a monthly donor to them. Basically, what they do is they just kind of they help people in the LGBTQ community who are experiencing, persecution and threats, against their lives. Basically, I help them sort of relocate to somewhere safer.
Right on.
Yeah.
Um, if you could go back in time and talk to one world leader or person of influence, who would it be?
Oh man, it'd be a tie. If you're talking world leader, I might lean more toward FDR. He just he was an incredible leader through a really tumultuous time. But if you're, I don't know, man. If I'm feeling like talking more to an artist, it might have to be Jim Morrison, to be honest. Probably the great American poet. Um, just kind of punched out with so much more to say, I think. And I would have just loved to have been in the same room as him, though I don't think I could have kept up with him with a, a lot of the stuff he got into.
Yeah, he would be interesting. From what I've
Yeah.
heard from like, people and what I've seen and read, like he definitely seemed like an interesting dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a DVD of a bunch of rare footage from when the Doors went and toured Europe in '68, and there were like some interview segments along the way, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'd be in Amsterdam, and a lot of people would just be like, 'Holy crap, it's the Doors!' And they just kind of hand you stuff, and you had to be smart. You had to not take a lot of what people were giving you, especially just on the side of the road. Except for Jim, he'd be right out front, just taking everything and doing everything, and he was definitely one of those sort of live fast, die hard type of guys, right?
Yeah, but the dude was one of the greatest singers of all time. Like I don't, care what anybody says. The dude was super talented.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is you don't need necessarily a 5 octave range to be the best singer. What you need to be able to do is convey a lot of emotion. So I would jump on that too. I think Jimi Hendrix was a phenomenal singer, and when you listen to him, he barely ever sang in tune, but it really didn't matter because you could just feel the songs through his voice.
Yep, this is true. All right, last question. What are some places in Barrie, Ontario that visitors should check out?
Oh man, we've got a beautiful waterfront. There's always lots of cool stuff happening down there. They've got big festivals that they do right along the water, right on the bay. So that's always super cool. I'm a big baseball guy myself. We do have a minor league team here called the Bay Cats. So I always encourage people to make the drive down Highway 26 a little and go take in a Baycats game. They're awesome. They just won their league title last season, so we're hoping for a repeat this time around. Man, there's so much to do. We've got nature trails. We've got hiking. Um, God, man, just about anything you could think of. Even during the summer, you can like rent like canoes and paddle boards and things like that. Just take them right out on the bay near downtown. Literally whatever you want to do, I feel like you can do it here.
So when I come up to visit, you can take me to all those spots and especially take me to a baseball game because I too am a giant baseball guy.
Nice. All right. Always good to meet another.
Who's your Major League Baseball team?
Um, it's probably still got to be the Tigers from when I was young. Because I mean, we lived right next to Detroit, so we used to go over occasionally. That's why, and you might shoot me for this, but I am also a Red Wings fan. Um, but yeah, I think these days, I do kind of like the Blue Jays. They should probably get better because they've been kind of teasing us with a good playoff run for a while, but we haven't had a really good one since probably 2015 with the infamous bat flip. Um, Yeah, we'll have to see. But I don't know, man. I love the game so much. I'm also kind of partial actually to the Pirates. Um, so that might be a little bit more in your wheelhouse. Unless you're a Phillies fan, don't tell me you're a big Phillies
Absolutely
fan.
not.
Oh,
Absolutely
thank
not.
God.
No, dude, I feel you on those, and I can respect those because I'm a Devils fan and I'm a Braves fan.
Okay, yeah, yeah, right on.
Braves and the Tigers and the Blue Jays aren't rivals; they're homies. So it's
Yeah,
all good. And then the Devils and Red Wings aren't rivals. So yeah, we're straight.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
If
Right
you would have
on.
if you would have said like Phillies, or if you would have said Mets or whatever, I would have had to hang up immediately. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God. Well, I don't think much about baseball, but I like those Dodgers. Great, you and everybody else.
Yeah, I could do
So,
without them. It's like I
yeah.
I like Shohei. I respect him. Mookie and those guys, I respect them. It's like for me, it's not the players that I have an issue with. It's their fans. A lot of their fans are bandwagoners, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. I kind of have maybe some quarrels with the way the Dodgers head office runs. I mean, this whole like inking huge deals through the use of like salary deferral. But I
Yeah,
guess I don't know, man. You can't really hate the player for finding that kind of hole in
right.
things. You kind of have to hate the game for not closing that up. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know, man. I respect them. I don't love them, but I respect them.
yeah. Well, what's great about baseball is that like the same team doesn't normally win every year, so they could have like the greatest team
Yeah.
of all time, but they're not going to win every year. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think so one of the last baseball games that I went to actually was a couple of years ago. I was on a layover in Tampa, and it just so happened the Athletics were in town against the Rays, and we landed like 2 hours before the game, and I was like, all right, I have to go to this game because I'm seeing literally two endangered species. Um, and man, it was awesome. Like I just rolled up to the Trop, $25. I got a lower level ticket on the infield because it's like there was nobody at those games, right? And yeah, man, those Rays, they're a good team, and they deserve a little more than what they're getting in Tampa. So I hope they can sort that whole situation out. But
I don't
I've
get
been
it.
following that pretty closely.
I really don't understand because they're normally good, but yet nobody shows up, and I think it's just because people there just don't care because there's other things going on like the beach and partying or whatever. It's like yeah, like that's cool. Like I'm for that stuff, but at the same time, I mean, being in a baseball game is one of the best things ever.
Yeah, and so I think kind of my question on that got answered on that layover because I was staying in Tampa right near the airport. And in order to get to the Trop, um, it's a hell of a drive. And my Uber ended up costing me kind of an arm and a leg, really, um, because typically you have to go over like a huge bridge to get to the St. Petersburg side where the Trop was, and the bridge was out at the time for some reason or other. So, just even trying to get to the game on surface roads, man, it took like an hour of driving. I don't know. It's just such a bad location where that is. I feel like if they built a ballpark in Tampa and it was a good ballpark on the Tampa side, I feel like they could probably do really well. But we'll have to see. I, I I'm not sure I have the faith in their ownership to pull that off.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
I could talk about baseball all day though.
You and me both, my friend. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to talk more later about it. But I really appreciate you coming on, and the support means the world to me. For the people that are gonna watch this later, where can they find you guys at?
Yeah, so you can find me at mikehaggith.com. Uh, y- I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of that. And you can also find the label at morningstarrecords.com. And then we do have a small Instagram where we just kind of repost news articles from the website, and that's at the Morningstar Collective. Um, and yeah, if you see this logo or some variant of it, then that means you're in the right place.
Do what the man says. Go to the websites. Buy merch, buy music, support local bands, support local labels, support people that are doing the right things, that have the right attitude. You're doing a great work, and you're really helping the scene out. So much love to you, my friend.
Dave, I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Of course. Well, I hope you have a great night, and we'll chat soon.
Absolutely, my friend. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you do too.
Appreciate it.
All
Peace
right.
out.
Cheers.